Hello, Alabama. Great news for Bama on the college football playoff front. Before the news hits, subscribe to the channel to receive more Bama news. The news about the college football playoff is a real relief for Alabama fans and, more broadly, for all SEC fans. It's no secret that the Crimson Tide's absence from the playoff last season left a bitter taste not only in Tuscaloosa, but throughout the conference. The decision to exclude Alabama in favor of teams like SMU from the ACC was seen by many as an affront to the SEC's legacy and competitive strength. Now, with the new proposals on the table, it's clear that the SEC is ready to reclaim its rightful place at the top of college football, ensuring that incidents like last year never happen again. What we're seeing here is more than just a change in the playoff format, it's a statement of power. The SEC and Big Ten are leading this transformation, and it has huge implications for programs like Alabama. With the possibility of expanding the playoff to 14 or even 16 teams, and with 4 guaranteed spots for each of these two conferences, it's clear that Alabama will have a much better chance of being in the national conversation year after year. That's crucial, especially in a climate where the level of competition is only increasing. Let's be honest. Last season was an outlier for Alabama. Losing to Vanderbilt and Oklahoma was something no one expected, and those losses cost them dearly. But at the same time, it's hard to ignore that the playoff committee seemed to underestimate the weight of Alabama's jersey and the overall strength of the SEC. When you look at other conferences, it's clear that the SEC has been the gold standard in college football for decades. And now, with Texas and Oklahoma joining the fold, the conference is only going to get stronger. So why should Alabama and other SEC programs be punished for an unexpected loss or two? This new proposal does just that. By guaranteeing 4 automatic SEC berths, the format eliminates much of the uncertainty that has surrounded the playoffs in recent years. For Alabama, it means that even in seasons where the team may not be at its best, it will still have a real shot at a national title. That's important because, at the end of the day, the goal of any elite program is to compete for a championship. And Kalen DeBoer, who took over at a crucial time, will have more leeway to build his vision without having to worry unduly about the whims of a committee. Another positive aspect of this change is the possibility that the SEC could adopt a 9-game league schedule starting in 2026. Until now, there has been resistance to this idea because a 9th conference game would increase the risk of losses, which could hurt the team's playoff chances. But with guaranteed berths, that fear goes away. A 9th SEC game will not only further strengthen the conference, but it will also bring in additional television revenue. For fans, this means more exciting matchups against traditional rivals, which makes the college football experience even more special. Of course, this change won't please everyone. The other conferences, especially the ACC and Big 12, may argue that this creates an unfair system. But frankly, the SEC and Big 10 have dominated college football for years, and their programs have consistently delivered. If any conference deserves greater playoff representation, it's the SEC. And within the SEC, few programs have the pedigree and history of Alabama. This new structure recognizes that and ensures that the best teams have more opportunities to shine on the national stage. This proposal also sends a clear message to the rest of college football: the SEC will no longer accept being underestimated. Commissioner Greg Sankey and conference leaders quickly understood that they needed to act after what happened last season. They used their political clout to force changes that benefit not only Alabama, but the entire conference. It shows that the SEC is committed to protecting its interests and ensuring that its teams have fair access to the playoffs. For Alabama fans, this is a significant victory. It's a reminder that even in times of adversity, the program remains an undisputed powerhouse. With Kalen DeBoer at the helm and these new rules about to go into effect, the future looks bright. Not only will Alabama be back in the playoffs, but it will be in an even better position to win more national titles. And for fans, there's no better news than that. I'd love to hear your thoughts at the end. Let's get started. College football talent scouting is as strategic an art as the actual play on the field, and the Alabama Crimson Tide continue to prove that they understand the process deeply. The case of Luke Sorenson, a promising tight end from Servite High School in California, perfectly illustrates how the program led by Kalen DeBoer is able to attract athletes with a vision for the future and a passion for the sport. Sorenson's statement that Alabama's offer is huge for him is not only a compliment to the program's prestige, but also a reflection of how the Crimson Tide differentiates itself in the use of its key players within the offensive system. When Sorenson mentions that the way they utilize their tight ends is unmatched, he is acknowledging something that fans and analysts have known for years: Alabama does not treat its tight ends as mere add-ons to the offense. They are versatile weapons, capable of changing the course of a game both through blocking and through their ability to catch passes in critical situations. This style of play naturally attracts players like Sorenson, who excel at multitasking on the field. He combines physical strength with agility, making him exactly the type of player who can thrive in a system that values versatility. Sorenson's interest in Alabama also reflects the program's growing influence on the West Coast, a region traditionally dominated by schools like USC and Oregon. Under Kalen DeBoer, the Crimson Tide have expanded their national reach, showing that it doesn't matter where the talent is. If it's good enough, Alabama will be there to compete for it. That strategy has paid off, with players like Sorenson seriously considering a chance to wear the red and white of Tuscaloosa. He's not alone. His 18 offers include some of the best universities in the country, but the fact that he singles out Alabama as something special says a lot about the program's reputation. Additionally, Sorenson's comment about Alabama being on the rise shows that he sees the program not only as a historic powerhouse, but as a team that continues to evolve and adapt to the changing trends of the game. This is crucial for high-profile recruits who want to be in an environment where they can maximize their potential and eventually make it to the NFL. The Crimson Tide has been a machine for producing professional players, especially at tight end, a position that has become even more important in recent years in modern football. It's important to note that despite currently being rated as a 3-star prospect, Sorenson has all the tools to move up the recruiting ladder. His recent rise in national prominence proves that he is on the radar of scouts and coaches. For Alabama, this represents an opportunity to mold a diamond in the rough into another essential piece to maintain its dominance in college football. Players like Sorenson, who combine physical talent with a competitive mindset, are exactly the type of athlete that Kalen DeBoer needs to continue building a balanced and lethal team. Sorenson's potential visit to Alabama's campus this spring will be a turning point in that process. Seeing the program's structure firsthand, talking to the coaches and feeling the energy of Tuscaloosa could all be key factors in convincing him that the Crimson Tide is the right place for his college career. Regardless of the outcome, it's clear that Alabama remains a magnetic force in recruiting, attracting players who not only want to win, but also want to be part of something bigger. And for someone like Luke Sorenson, the chance to be part of that tradition could be simply irresistible. The Alabama Crimson Tide are still on the recruiting trail for the 2026 class, and another big player is on their radar: Max Sutter, a 4-star tight end who narrowed his list of finalists to 5 schools, keeping the Tide in the running alongside Illinois, Ohio State, Ole Miss, and Penn State. The battle for the talented player from Dunlap High School in Illinois promises to be fierce, but there are solid reasons to believe that Alabama has a legitimate advantage in the race. Sutter is not a new name to the Tide coaching staff. His recruitment has been ongoing for almost a year, and since Alabama made the official offer, it has been clear that the connection between the two parties would be strong. Sutter himself reinforced this by saying that Alabama is special to him because it is one of the few schools that has made him an offer in person. This detail may seem small to outsiders, but within the recruiting process, it demonstrates the level of seriousness and respect that Alabama has for the player's talent. And it is not difficult to understand why he is interested. He's not just your average TE. He's a true playmaker, capable of playing in multiple offensive and even defensive roles. He's snapped as a quarterback, wide receiver and defensive end, a testament to his versatility and athleticism, something any elite program values and one that Kalen DeBoer certainly knows how to exploit. The big question now is, what could factor into Sutter's final decision? Illinois may have the advantage of being a local program. Ohio State has tradition, Ole Miss and Penn State are serious contenders, but none of those programs have the history, structure and development capacity that Alabama offers. And if there's one thing DeBoer has proven in his short tenure with the Crimson Tide, it's that he's not here to lose recruiting battles. The road to the final announcement may still bring twists, turns and changes of preference, but Alabama is in an excellent position to secure this special talent. Ultimately, what is Sutter looking for? If he wants to compete at the highest level, be developed for the NFL, and be part of one of college football's greatest traditions, the choice seems obvious. Alabama doesn't just produce champions, Alabama is where champions choose to be. Let's go! Arch Manning's decision to choose the Texas Longhorns over the Alabama Crimson Tide has shed new light on the factors that influence the choices young talent makes in college. While Alabama is known worldwide for its football excellence and has an impressive history of developing quarterbacks who excel in both college and the NFL, Manning's choice shows that sports are not always the only deciding factor for these athletes. The revelation made by Hyde Manning, Arch's younger brother, sheds light on something that many fans may not consider: life off the field also matters a lot. It's understandable that for a player with the level of exposure and expectation that Arch Manning has, the possibility of having moments of normalcy is something valuable. He comes from a family with a football legacy that is virtually unmatched. The Mannings are synonymous with excellence in the sport. His grandfather, Archie, and his uncles, Peyton and Eli, all had legendary NFL careers. With that, Arch carries on his shoulders not only the weight of his own ambitions, but also the expectations of millions of fans who hope to see him follow in his family's footsteps. In this context, the search for a place where he can simply be Arch makes perfect sense. Austin, unlike Tuscaloosa or Athens, offers exactly that: a vibrant city, full of diversity and opportunities so that someone like Arch can enjoy college life without being constantly in the spotlight. This is not to detract from Alabama, of course. The program now led by Kalen DeBoer continues to be an unstoppable machine, capable of attracting the best talent in the country and molding them to compete at the highest level. But the reality is that Tuscaloosa, despite its charm and passion for football, has a different dynamic. It is a smaller city, where the sport is practically the center of everything, and where a player like Arch would hardly go unnoticed. This does not mean that Alabama is at a disadvantage in the current scenario. Quite the opposite. The Crimson Tide are still a powerhouse and are far from out of the running for a championship. The three-way quarterback battle unfolding in Tuscaloosa is a perfect example of that. Kalen DeBoer has an impressive group of talents on his hands, each fighting to prove they deserve a starting job. This internal competition only strengthens the program, ensuring that no matter who is chosen to lead the offense, the team will be well served. And let's face it, this fierce competition could even be seen as a positive for some recruits who enjoy the challenge of competing for a starting job. Arch Manning's selection reflects a growing trend among elite players, a focus on the college experience as a whole. It's not just about winning championships or preparing for the NFL, it's about finding a balance between sports and personal life. For Arch, Austin seems to offer that balance. The Texas Longhorns are on the rise, with a program that is rebuilding to return to the top of college football, and Manning's presence certainly accelerates that process. He is already seen as the team's future starting quarterback, and expectations are high for next season. On the other hand, Alabama doesn't need to worry about the lack of interest from big names. The program's reputation speaks for itself. Kalen DeBoer has demonstrated the ability to keep the Crimson Tide competitive, and the culture of success that Nick Saban has built over the years remains strong. Even without Arch Manning, Alabama continues to be one of the teams to beat in any season. After all, what defines a great program is not only the ability to attract stars, but also the ability to continue evolving and adapting to changes in the world of sports. Alabama continues its journey to the top, proving once again that, in the world of American football, there is room for different paths and stories. And now it's Ty Simpson's turn. Comment your opinion, it's important.